Today, took a while to start up. Today is Monday, the 17th of May, 2021. And I'm in the Connemara, which is why you do not hear steps. You don't hear our birds as I'm indoors. I'm just going to make myself some coffee. I'm going to give you the pleasure of listening to what it sounds like to make coffee. First of all, we take the bag, coarse Carrefour Cafe, and then we ram it in the machine here. We take our cup and we turn on the 2-cup section because I don't like the small stuff. Then we take our one little thing of sugar and we're going to put that in the coffee. Now, it's a bit noisy, this machine. Megamix, it's called. L'Espresso Automatique. Let's just going to top it up. Okay, there we go, that's enough. Nice to have a distraction here, because today is a bit of a downer. Wow, that coffee tastes completely weak. It'll do. Okay. But it's weak. Normally it's got some kind of... And if we have coffee, what do we need? We need some of these little chocolate, dark chocolate things that go with the coffee. God, a thought just struck me. Imagine if I had been doing this, these audio vlogs when I was in Deloitte's. That would have been interesting, wouldn't it? I would have had so much time to do these as I was walking around the buildings, patrolling at 3 o'clock in the morning. Or I could have just had it on the reception desk. And that would have been interesting to listen back to, because there's all kinds of details from that time that I've no doubt forgotten about now, I'm pretty sure. Lots of little details of what was going on, what was Flo doing, what were we thinking about, what was in the news. And yeah, I would have been able to buy many audio devices. That thing I have, the digital one, the old one, I'm sure that was probably around back then. Anyway, otherwise today, I already said it's the 17th here. I've got my phone in front of me. It's windy today, but warm. And on the crypto news side, well, it's like it's been for the last, I don't know how many entries you've heard me going over the same story here. But for most of May, in fact all of May, and I think probably the last week or two of April, the whole thing has been kind of going down more so than going up. Bitcoin is now down to 44,500, which we've all kind of gotten used to because it's been so down of late. But back in the middle of April, if someone had said Bitcoin's going to drop down to 44, it would have been quite dramatic, because it was up past 60 and we were just, I don't think many people thought it was going to hit the 40s again, to be honest. But there's been this slow drainage, this slow trend downward. It seems to get back to the 50s, 55, 56, and then drops. But at the moment, it's really down. Ethereum is down to 3,400, which, okay, it's made a big kind of a move upward over the last month, but you have to consider that was at 4,700 or something, I think, a few days ago. The Binance coin is down to 522, and that again was up to, it was at 670, 680, touching it at 700 at one point. The only shining light in all this is ADA, which is still above $2, $2.10. It was $2.40, it's dropped as well. And for me, the worst things, well, Polkadot has lost all its gains as well. It's 39 now. But for me, the worst things really is Litecoin. I bought it at nearly $400, and now it's $283. I'd say my 2,000 is more like 1,000 at the moment on that. Chainlink, which at one point was getting close to 50, is now 38. I mean, there are really substantial drops here. One of the worst ones, again, if not the worst one, is the Ethereum Classic, which I bought. God, I don't know what I bought it at. If I go back, let's see, because I bought it probably I bought it around $130. It's now worth $88. So I'm making no money on any of these things really. Just Thema is going up. It's $10. But Thema, well, it goes up one day and it goes back down the next. It's terrible. I don't do the graph anymore. So ADA is basically keeping all my investment in the green. But if ADA should tumble all the way back to $1 or something, then we'd really be getting into, I think, an overall loss, perhaps. So yeah, that's the news for that. It's kind of depressing. It's everything's just red, and it's been a kind of a downtrend now for 4 or 5 weeks. So you start to get a bit like, is it going to pull out of this? And I don't have to mention my Coinbase shares. I have 4 Coinbase shares. I bought them for $3.99. I just checked. They're now about $252. So I've lost about 48% on that. My $1,300 is now $800. That's continually going down. It bounced up once and immediately proceeded to fall back. So you've got all these things which are depressing. And then in the Telegraph news, there's a picture of a woman hugging her grandchildren. It's getting back to normal, except they've got to be aware of the Indian variant. And then you've got the Palestinians and the Israelis fighting. Elon Musk tweeting that. What else? I don't feel very up to date. Flo started taking notes of her moods and my moods. We're trying to. It'd be good to, if we can do it each day and then put it on a graph and see if there's some pattern to the way a person's mood goes up and down. Something I've been interested in for a long time in myself. Is there a pattern? We're doing that. Yesterday I was kind of neutral to good, but today I feel a little on the downside. I heard Flo on the phone today to that fuckers at SFR trying to get the phone to have an answering service. And seeing her irritated, and just feeling very irritated myself, because it just seems to be such a simple thing, and although it's simple, it seems to be just unsolvable. It's bizarre. It's been going on for weeks, and she keeps being shifted around because the commerce people say it's a technical problem, the technical people say it's a kind of a marketing, a commerce problem. And seeing Flo getting irate with that, and the conversation starting to go back now to the Connemara and buying stuff, and checking if the flour is still okay, and knowing that Flo is not going to be happy at all when she starts here. All these things are setting off these little anxiety bells in my brain. We were also listening to somebody talking about cryptocurrency on the RTE Radio 1, and it was pretty critical. They showed the SNL skit, or they played it. So what is Dogecoin? It's a hustle. Yeah, it's a hustle. And the gist of this little segment they had was basically that it is a scam. And some of the text messages that came into the station were saying the same thing. It was very kind of one-sided, and it kind of annoys me, but it annoys me because I realized kind of, as I was sitting there, I was kind of realizing I can't really explain it either. And I can't really give any concrete proof that the vast majority of it is not just some stupid scam. And I don't really have the technical ability or technical intelligence to go through some papers, or to go some through technical videos and be convinced. I'm really going on just trusting in certain YouTube videos, and an instinct kind of, and a willingness to believe that this is the way to make some money in the future. And it is a certain instinct says, well, sure, of course the technology is going to improve, and we did have improvements from we went from buying videos and DVDs to streaming. We have the Zoom technology, which changes things. People can work from home. Why would it not be, why is it not almost inevitable that we have more upgrades to various things, to various systems, to the big players like YouTube and Google? Why would we not have more competition, more different technologies coming? It should be inevitable. The technological age is not going to stop. And why would it not move from communication to the whole notion of banking and exchanging one thing for another? And so but it's kind of frustrating to realize that you really are pretty stupid when all's said and done, and you're just relying on what you heard. Because I like to pride myself on doing some, and I have done research, but still, I like to pride myself on being cynical and on being able to spot scams a mile away, and being the first to tell Flo, these people are just out to get your money, Like, you just got this piece of jewelry and they said it would have to be specially made and it'd take a couple of months to make it and blah blah blah, and you got it a week later and it's like, it looks like anything you'd buy in a market. Are you sure you're not being scammed? But here I am, And I'm not spending 20 or 30 euros on something. I'm not even spending 1,000 euros on doing a yoga course, which has all kinds of benefits. No, I'm investing thousands upon thousands into some scheme that I don't know for sure is not, that a lot of it is not total BS. And so there's a chance you could lose money, but it's also, for me, it's this sense of kind of, am I going to be taken for the biggest ride? Me, the guy who prides himself in being cynical, kind of with a strong radar for all things scammy. And yeah, I bought into this hook, line and sinker. I believe what people say. I believe Hodgkinson. I believe these things are there and they exist. I believe that they're going to put all these contracts onto the Cardano chain. But if you were to ask me, well, do you have proof that all this is going to work? Do you have proof that it's all going to take off, like you say, in Ethiopia and Africa? All these chains are going to explode, and that you should be not only putting money into Cardano, and you should be putting money into the things on the ecosystem. If you asked me to prove any of it, I couldn't. And if you asked me to explain it in detail, I couldn't. Because the fact of the matter is, I don't understand any of it. That's annoying. I don't have a trump card when it comes to people going, this is just a load of, Of course, these my stomach feels bloated. Been eating late at night, going to bed late, and I do feel like I feel fat. I feel my stomach. I feel like I've got a belly, from all the junk. And my legs feel stiff. So it's one of those times when, due to digestion and circulation and all kinds of things, it's going to affect the psyche. And I think that's more. It's reasonable to suggest that there's a biological impact on your mood. I prefer that than although it's fine to think that the moon and other things have an effect. Certainly the atmospheric conditions and could have an effect on someone's mood. There's magnetic conditions, there's solar flares from the sun, there's the various things. For some people you can say, like, when the pollen count is high, for instance, it has a very real effect. So there are maybe things we don't know much about that also have an effect on the person's mood, on sometimes I get a headache and it may be something to do with the type of weather we're having or something. When that mood comes along, of course, you tend to you're looking through that mood at everything, and so you're shining that mood into everything you're occupied with. And you start to see the false kind of cause and effect. It's not really that cryptocurrencies are causing my mood or anything. The cause of the mood is much more mysterious than that. You could say that my negative view on crypto is a byproduct of the mood I'm in. And my kind of negative view of the future and opening the Connemara, and my opinion of myself and not being able to stand on my own 2 feet. All these things are more a byproduct of the mood. But yeah, the mood itself brings to mind various, it opens up various files. And I've kind of gone through this before, but you know, I don't start thinking about how great it's going to be when all the cryptocurrencies go up and up and up, and I don't start thinking of how wonderful it'll be when we're on holidays somewhere, whatever. In this mood, I start thinking of, if I want to go back, am I going to end up back in Ireland? I don't want to do that. What happens if something happens to Flo? It's all these usual negative things. If we go back to buy a flat somewhere in the west of Ireland or in Dublin, what are we going to do with Tuco? When Flo goes away for a week, am I going to struggle with Tuco? Is it going to be difficult? And what happens if Flo goes to India and she decides she wants to spend the next 6 months in the ashram? These are the thoughts that come to my mind. But they didn't come to my mind yesterday or the day before. And so I'm aware that it's, you know, they're just there and I don't take too much notice of them. And the big thing behind it all is this sense of insecurity about the future and the fact that I can't make it on my own. I think that's the big thing. There was some kind of security in the past, let's say when I was in prime time, although it just goes to show how false that sense of security was. When you have your own job in your own place and you realize, if I keep paying my rent and mind my own business, and you know, then there's no reason why I can't continue on in this independent life forever, really. That's what excuse me for a moment. Flo. Hello, Flo?
Yes, it's me. you let me just think bye-bye. Oh, is he gone? Is he gone?
I know one thing for sure. If Flo's on a conversation on the phone, you do not interrupt her. That's rule 1 is, if Flo's talking, especially if it's SFR or whatever, you do not interrupt her. Rule 2, if Flo is on the phone, you do not interrupt her. So I just sneaked away like a little dog with his tail had between his legs.
Like you always do, you always sneak away.
Yeah.
Well, Tuco was just even asking for his food, so I think he's going to wait a bit more. He can wait up to tonight now, or he's looking at me and he's looking for food.
Yeah.
No, security, not at the time. So shall I come and we look at this list and things like that?
Yeah, if you want, yeah.
Yeah?
We don't want to spend too long here though, so let's we just do a little bit at a time. Yeah, we got no rush.
Yeah, no, but I've got 2 weeks me and off, so I like to set up everything before I leave.
Yeah, but I don't want Tuco to be waiting till 9 o'clock tonight to be fed, you know. So I know when you start on these things, it might be that you're going to be here for 3 hours. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but you can start the list and I'll check what you're going to do. So you do a most only list, and then you can start on Prono, and then the cider is for me. That's all. That's the fresh product.
Right. Yeah. Okay. We can do that.
It's 4 lists. You can start on the 4 lists, and right now I'm going to call Prono and the cider to see when they can deliver, when they do the delivery, if they've changed their organization and things like that. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'll see you.
I'll see you in a little while.
Right. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
That kind of torments me, because I was looking forward to just getting out and walking off into the sun. And I genuinely don't like to see Tuco go the whole day without eating anything, poor fella. And I know that when Flo gets into stuff here, you know, if she starts cleaning things, if she starts wanting to arrange stuff, it's one of those things about Flo that it's been like that since, well, forever really. And in a way, it's a great kind of a quality to have. But it's also, you know, she could take it to start cleaning the Connemara, and she could stay here till 12 o'clock at night, you know, just... I can't get into anything for that amount of time. I just can't. And I'm also aware that as soon as she comes here, her mood is going to just flip. And she's going to start seeing stuff that I'm not seeing now. And even though I've been cleaning up bits and pieces here, she's going to come here, her mood is going to deteriorate, and it's going to be all bad. So I just have to keep my mouth shut. And make some lists. Okay. And make some lists, throw out some stuff. Yeah, that's all a bit anxious. We've got lots of flour. Or do we? We don't have lots of flour. We don't have... Well, that's quite good. We only seem to have a small amount of sarrasin. Well, we can throw that out. We've got tons of cream. And the date on the cream? January, February, March, the 2nd of April, 2021. So, 8 big cartons of cream. The second, that's all gone. How about the sugar? The sugar, I don't know. I don't think there's any date on sugar, is there? I guess not. The flour, is there any dates on flour? There is something here, but that's not a date. Fin? Oh no, there is. I think it says Avril 21, so April 21. You know what? I think our best the best thing for us to do would be to just fucking throw out every fucking thing we have here. Flour, olives, no, all of the, yeah, olives too. Everything, just dump it all. And then start from scratch. Start from fucking scratch. Because everything is fucked. Yeah, it's a pity we didn't take this bacon home with us. Could have used it. I would have eaten all that at home. Ah, never mind. Never mind. I'm starting to get chilly now. I'm going to turn the heating on. You need the heating. You don't need the heating. It's the middle of the summer. Ah! If I want the heating on, I'm going to put the heating on, okay? So fuck you! That's the way you deal with the woman. I didn't slap Flo enough in the early part of the relationship. That's where I went wrong. You need to discipline your wife. So I would advise anybody from early on, let's say the second, third week, not straight away because you don't want to scare them away, but let's say after you get married. Once you get married, you tie the knot, a bit more difficult for them to run away at that point. So then, slap her on the ear every time she says anything that annoys you. Yeah. I remember watching Tony Egan. I was around Tony Egan's house years and years ago. He had no kids or anything at the time. Now he's got like 4 grown-up teenagers, I think so, like, 30 years ago maybe. And we were in the living room and we were both a bit drunk. And he kept telling me to be quiet. Shh, be quiet. I'm going to wake up my wife. And I was thinking, and another time I think he had to leave the pub early because he was supposed to meet his wife somewhere and he was late. And I remember thinking, I'll never be like that. Fuck, I can't believe all these guys, these men's men, and they're so kind of scared of their wives. Unbelievable. How could a man's man end up like that? What the hell happens? How can you be scared of your wife? I get married, I'll tell my wife to fuck off if she bothers me like that. I'll stay out drinking if I want. I'll do what I want. And here I am, walking up and down nervously in the Connemara. Because I know Flo's going to be in a bad mood, and I'm trying to prepare myself for it. But it's not like there'll be no confrontations. It's just like, take it easy, just let her go, it's fine, do what she asks you to do, make some fucking kind of a list. I am exactly that cliche, that stereotype. Don't bother the wife. I didn't realize at the time that, you bother the wife, she'd put you through the fucking ringer for the next 2 weeks. And men, they don't like that bad feeling between them and some. I think really men don't like that. They don't like to they like to clear the air, They don't mind having a big row and then it's finished and it's all done. But they don't like that thing about shit, There's that kind of badness between us. I don't know what she's thinking, but I feel guilty. I feel bad. Men hate that. I guess women do as well. But they seem to be much more relaxed about that type of dynamic, Anyway, I've been talking for 33 minutes. So I am actually a little motivated now, I must admit. Because the idea of trying to figure out what can we keep and what can we not, and just the thought I had there of just like, fuck, get rid of it all. Get rid of everything you have here, it's not that much, and start fresh. That's kind of inspired me a little bit. That's inspired me. Because I think if I do that, it'll be easier. Because it just means we need everything. That's all. That's what we need, Flo. We need every single thing on the menu. We need to buy everything. We need to buy flour, cider. We need to buy the white flour, the dark flour. We need to buy cream. We need to buy milk. We need to buy everything. We need to buy oil. We need to buy Emmental, Roblechon, bacon, the whole shebang. And that makes my list making that little bit easier. I don't have to what do I need? Need everything. Still a little worried about the cleaning, but I think for the hands was down. But I'm looking at my reflection. I don't know whether it's just the light here, but I look quite fresh. Kind of funny I guess I slept well today. Yeah. Okay, everybody. That's all for now. I've enjoyed this chat. Oh, the battery's about to run out. Oh, that's good. I'll say goodbye and hope things in the future are... is that Flo? No, that's not her. Hoping everything in the future will be good. We'll be back working, and I'm sure I'll enjoy the routine when it starts. Okay, so adios.